You know that feeling? That knot right in your stomach when life just feels unpredictable and you have no idea what's coming next.
Oh, yeah, that low hum of anxiety.
Could be anything, right? Work stuff, relationships, health,
Yeah.
or just, the general messiness of it all. It feels uncomfortable, almost like a threat.
It really does. And there's a deep biological reason for it. Our brains, fundamentally, they crave certainty. It's an old survival thing.
Survival.
Yeah, think about it. Back then, the unknown, often dangerous, not knowing where food was or what might be hiding nearby, that triggered, fight or flight. That wiring's still there.
So ambiguity feels like a literal danger signal, even now.
Pretty much. It interprets that, space not just as inconvenient, but potentially harmful.
Wow. Okay, so that explains why sometimes not knowing feels even worse than knowing something bad is definitely happening.
Exactly. The anticipation, that worry fueled by the unknown, can be way more stressful than actually dealing with the thing itself once you know what it is.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And it can leave you feeling completely stuck, can't it? Like paralyzed.
Definitely.
So today, we're diving into that. We're going to really unpack how to navigate that feeling. We've been looking at a whole stack of stuff, psychology, health studies, even some ancient philosophy from the Stoics to figure out why uncertainty hits us so hard and, more importantly, find some real practical ways to cope with it, maybe even find some good in it.
Yeah, it's about shifting, isn't it? Moving from just gritting your teeth through the unknown to finding ways to approach it with a bit more ease, a lot less of that constant worry. We'll look at what's going on inside us and find some tools. Some are surprisingly powerful.
Okay, let's get into it. Where does this really deep discomfort come from? We touched on the evolutionary bit, but it feels like more.
It is. Uncertainty at its core is just, it's a lack of knowledge, right? About now or what's coming. Simple idea, but the impact is huge. And psychology has this term, intolerance of uncertainty. Basically, it means someone finds it really hard to handle the uncomfortable feelings that come with not knowing.
Like a low tolerance for that I don't know feeling.
Exactly. If you have a low threshold for it, any ambiguous situation gets flagged like threat, danger, immediately, even if the actual chance of something bad happening is tiny.
So it's less about the thing itself and more about how we react to not having all the info.
Precisely. And that intolerance, it sets off a whole chain reaction. Physical stuff, mental stuff.
Okay, like what? Physically?
Well, it can feel a lot like panic. Hot flashes, feeling breathless, heart pounding like crazy, maybe sweating, feeling shaky. It's your body's alarm system basically going haywire.
And mentally. That must be where the anxiety really kicks in.
Oh, yeah. Big time. Confusion sets in, that horrible feeling of losing control. And then there's catastrophizing.
Jumping straight to the absolute worst case scenario. Every single time.
Yep. Your brain skips right over, I'm not sure what will happen, and lands on, the most terrible thing imaginable is definitely about to occur, and constantly pushing back against that uncertain future. It's exhausting.
Creates so much stress.
Chronic stress. And it stops you cold, makes you avoid things. The voice saying, nah, don't go for that job, you might not get it, or don't try that new thing, it could all go wrong. You end up stuck because the known, even if it's not great, feels safer than facing the unknown.
Okay, so if resisting is our default, what's the first big shift? What's the foundation?
Acceptance. That comes up again and again in everything we looked at. It's the bedrock strategy.
Acceptance. That word can sometimes sound a bit passive, like you're just giving up or rolling over.
Yeah, that's a common misconception. But it's crucially not resignation. It's not saying, okay, life sucks, I quit. It's actually a really active choice. It's about meeting reality exactly where it is, right here, right now.
So saying, okay, this is the situation, and these are my feelings about it. Like acknowledging both.
Exactly that. You accept the fact that things are uncertain, and you accept the fact that you feel anxious or scared or whatever it is about that uncertainty. Both parts.
Okay.
And that's where the power comes in. When you stop battling reality, whether it's a feeling inside you or a situation outside you, you free up so much mental energy. You're not stuck arguing with what is anymore.
Right.
A lot of therapies, especially mindfulness-based ones like ACT, acceptance and commitment therapy, really lean into this. You accept the feeling or the situation, not because you like it, but because it is. And that acceptance is the first step towards figuring out, okay, now what? How do I move forward effectively? You can't really deal with something you're pretending isn't happening.
That completely reframes acceptance. It's not passive at all. It's choosing to see things clearly. Speaking of seeing clearly, some ancient wisdom kept popping up in the sources too. Feels very relevant.
Ah, yes. The Stoics. They were grappling with this exact thing, weren't they? How to live a good life when everything's so unpredictable. And their big insight often gets boiled down to the dichotomy of control.
Right, the idea that some things are up to us and, well, most things aren't.
Exactly. Epictetus talked about this a lot. He'd say, look, your opinions, your choices, your goals, your character, basically your inner world, your judgments, that stuff is in your control. Everything else, your body, what people think of you, your job, other people's actions, the weather, you name it, not up to you.
And trying to control that external stuff is just a recipe for misery, basically.
Totally. Like trying to direct the wind, it's futile. One interesting point was a slightly more nuanced version of this, sometimes called the trichotomy of control.
Okay, 3 categories.
Yeah. Things you have total control over, like your core values, your intentions. Things you have partial control over, maybe the outcome of a match you play or a project pitch. Your effort matters hugely, but you can't guarantee the result because other factors are involved.
Right, like the other team or the client's mood.
Exactly. And then finally, things you have zero control over, like whether the sun rises tomorrow, what happened yesterday, someone else's independent choices.
I like that distinction. It feels a bit more realistic, less black and white. But the main point is still the same, right?
Yeah.
Focus your energy where it counts.
Absolutely. Spend your energy where you actually have some influence. So when uncertainty hits hard, the most powerful question is, okay, is this really within my control? If the answer is no, then you practice that acceptance we talked about, acknowledge the feeling, and then deliberately, consciously shift your focus back to what is your actions, your attitude, how you respond. You can't control the storm, but you sure can control how you steer your ship.
Okay, so moving from that philosophical idea to the really practical stuff, if we can't control the future, what can we actually do right now?
Oh, lots. The sources offer a great toolkit. And one of the biggest tools comes back to being present. Someone put it beautifully. The real opposite of uncertainty isn't certainty. It's presence.
Whoa. Yeah. Okay. That's a big reframe. Uncertainty lives in the future. Presence is right here.
Exactly. And how do we anchor ourselves right here? The breath. It's so simple, but focusing on your breath, even just for a minute, grounds you instantly. It brings you back to the one thing you know is happening. Right now you're breathing.
Or just noticing your senses, what you see, hear, feel.
Yes. Pulling yourself out of the what-if spiral and into the physical reality of this moment. Or even just asking yourself, like you said before, hey, how am I actually doing right now?
That simple check-in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paying attention to what's going on inside thoughts, feelings, body sensations without judging them, it helps stop the external uncertainty from completely taking over your internal state.
Okay, so presence is key. What else helps process all that mental noise?
Self-reflection is huge. And journaling came up again and again as a really powerful way to do that, not just scribbling randomly, but using it to kind of map out the internal chaos uncertainty creates.
How would you use journaling specifically for uncertainty? Like, what would you write?
You could use specific prompts. Maybe start with, what exactly feels uncertain right now? Try and pinpoint it. Then maybe, what worries or needs feel threatened by this? Is it about security, health, how you see yourself?
You could even explore the physical side.
Yeah.
Like, where do you feel it in your body?
Definitely. Where is this uncertainty living in my body right now? Shoulders, gut. And also looking at how you're coping. What am I doing right now to deal with this? Is it actually helping? Being honest about maybe some less healthy habits too. And another really good one is just trying to name the emotions bubbling up. Fear, anger, sadness, powerlessness. Just putting words to them can make them feel less overwhelming. And sometimes, anger is just the surface level. Writing might help you dig down and see the fear or hurt underneath it.
It sounds like journaling gives you a way to externalize it all. Put it down on paper so you can actually see it.
Exactly that. It makes the internal landscape visible so you can start to figure out how to navigate it.
Okay, so reflection helps. But what about action? It feels kind of counterintuitive when things are up in the air. Should you just wait?
Oh no, definitely not wait. Action, even really small steps, is crucial. It builds resilience, gives you back a sense of agency. Instead of feeling paralyzed, you can shift into problem-solving mode.
Like what?
Well, what facts can you gather from reliable places, obviously? How is this situation actually impacting you right now, tangibly? Analyzing those concrete bits helps you see where you do have some control, what you can influence, even in the middle of the mess.
And maybe breaking things down. focusing on smaller things.
Yes, that's huge. Structure your time if you can. Set small, achievable goals for the day or the week. When the big picture feels like a giant question mark, just accomplishing something small, finishing a chore, making that phone call, going for a walk, it creates these little wins.
Right, it gives you a sense of progress.
Exactly. It reminds you that you can still function effectively in parts of your life, even when other parts feel totally chaotic.
I also like the idea you mentioned, reminding yourself that you've handled tough stuff before.
Yeah, tapping into your own history of resilience. Literally think back, okay, when have I faced uncertainty or challenges before? How did I get through it? What strengths did I use? Remind yourself, you know what? I've always figured out a way to land on my feet somehow. There was one perspective I really liked. Success isn't about never falling down. It's about being the one who keeps getting back up. Being the last warrior standing, not because you were the strongest or luckiest, but just because you didn't quit. You kept going.
That resilience piece, getting back up, that connects back to the Stoics again, doesn't it?
Absolutely. They had this practice, sometimes called the reserve clause. When they decided to do something, they'd mentally add a little condition like fate permitting or if nothing prevents it.
Okay, why? Was it like lowering expectations?
Not exactly. It wasn't pessimism. It was more like mental preparation. It trained them to act with total commitment, give it their all, but also to acknowledge that the final outcome wasn't entirely up to them. So if things went sideways, if an obstacle popped up, they weren't completely derailed. They could meet it with what Marcus Aurelius called serene acceptance.
Ah, okay. So accept the setback calmly.
And then figure out the next best action that is still in their control and lines up with their values. It stops you from being totally devastated when things don't go perfectly to plan.
Builds mental flexibility. Makes sense.
Yeah, robustness. And alongside all these strategies, the presence, the reflection, the action, maybe the most fundamental thing is just basic self-care and letting people support you.
Right. Self-care isn't fluffy stuff. It's the essential foundation.
Absolutely non-negotiable. Getting enough sleep, moving your body, decent food, these aren't luxuries when you're stressed. They are what build your capacity to handle the stress. And finding healthy ways to cope and comfort yourself.
Yeah, instead of automatically reaching for, the unhealthy stuff.
Right. Find outlets. Talking, writing, music, exercise, whatever works for you. And critically, reach out. Don't try to muscle through it alone.
Yeah, you don't have to navigate the fog all by yourself.
Please don't. Talking things through with people you trust, friends, family, maybe a therapist, it gives you perspective. Just saying the scary what-ifs out loud can sometimes shrink them down to size. Connection is such a powerful buffer against that anxiety uncertainty breeds.
Okay, so we've covered a lot on why uncertainty feels so awful, and a whole bunch of strategies for navigating it. Acceptance, control, presence, reflection, action, self-care, support. But is it always just something negative, something we just have to manage or endure? Could it? Could it actually be good sometimes?
It's just where it gets really fascinating because, yes, the sources strongly suggest we challenge that automatic assumption that uncertainty is bad. Turns out it can actually have some surprising benefits.
Benefits? Really? How? It usually feels pretty bad.
It does initially, but think about it. Uncertainty. It grabs our attention, doesn't it? Yeah. We're naturally more alert to things that are new or unfamiliar, so it actually heightens our focus and helps us learn better.
Oh, okay.
We learn more effectively when we're not totally sure what's going on. It also motivates us to try harder. If the outcome isn't a sure thing, you put in more effort, right? Think about starting a new relationship or launching a project. That uncertainty pushes you.
Oh yeah, like watching a live game versus watching a recording when you already know who won.
Perfect example. The uncertainty makes it exciting. Why do we enjoy thrillers or suspense stories? The not knowing is the appeal. It can even be a good distraction from other negative things sometimes.
And you mentioned it can amplify emotions.
Yes, especially the good ones. Think about waiting for good news or the surprise element of a gift or a party. That period of anticipation, fueled by not knowing exactly how it will turn out, can make the positive feeling even more intense and last longer when it finally arrives.
So maybe uncertainty isn't the enemy after all. Maybe it's more like the spice.
It absolutely can be reframed that way. The spice of life. Constant predictability would actually be pretty boring, wouldn't it? Uncertainty brings novelty, potential, a sense of adventure. Like a roller coaster, you embrace the temporary lack of control because that's part of the thrill.
That reframing feels really important. Instead of automatically picturing the worst, maybe consciously try to imagine positive outcomes too.
Exactly. Without ignoring potential risks, you can actively choose to visualize things working out well. It helps counterbalance that natural tendency to catastrophize. And beyond just reframing, finding a sense of meaning within the uncertainty can be incredibly grounding.
How so?
By focusing on how you can use your skills, your talents to contribute to something bigger than yourself, your family, your community, a cause you care about. That sense of purpose can anchor you when everything else feels chaotic.
I love that prompt you mentioned. Ask your 80-year-old self for advice.
Isn't that great? It's such a powerful perspective shift. Imagine looking back from the end of your life. What would that wiser, older you say about this period? How would they view these challenges? What choices would they be proud you made? It helps you define success by your own internal compass, by your values, not just by how things turn out externally.
So bringing this all together, uncertainty is tough. It taps into primal fear, triggers stress, makes us want to resist or just freeze. That's real.
It is.
Right.
But we're not powerless. We have these amazing tools from ancient wisdom and modern psychology.
Right. We can practice acceptance, seeing reality clearly, including our feelings about it. We can focus our energy like a laser on what's actually in our control and consciously let go of the rest.
We can ground ourselves in the present moment using simple things like our breath. We can use tools like journaling to untangle the mess inside.
And we can take smart action, small steps, reminding ourselves we're resilient, preparing mentally for bumps in the road, using ideas like that Stoic reserve clause, and crucially, taking care of ourselves and reaching out.
Absolutely. And maybe the biggest shift is realizing uncertainty isn't inherently bad. It can actually be a source of learning, motivation, enjoyment, richness. It's not an enemy to be defeated, maybe just part of the deal, an essential ingredient even.
Yeah, seeing it not as something to just dread, but as the place where growth and new possibilities actually come from.
Exactly. It's the fertile ground.
What's the biggest takeaway for you from all this research?
For me, I think it's that reframe. The opposite of uncertainty isn't certainty, it's presence. That feels like the most direct route to finding some calm in the chaos.
Yeah, that's powerful. For me, I think it's the clarity of that Stoic focus on control. Just asking that simple question, is this up to me? Instantly tells you where to put your energy and where you're just spinning your wheels. It cuts through so much noise.
Yeah. These aren't just tricks to feel a bit better. They feel like ways to build a more solid, more resilient way of operating in the world. Ready for whatever comes.
That's it exactly. They help you live intentionally, based on your values, even when the path ahead is completely foggy. So here's a final thought to leave you with. What if embracing the unpredictable isn't just about worrying less? What if it's actually the key to unlocking a kind of calm, and maybe even possibility, that you could never find while desperately trying to cling to the illusion of control?